Assistance animals are typically dogs who are specially trained to perform tasks to alleviate a person's disability. For example, a guide dog provides orientation and navigation for individuals who are vision impaired. But to date, there's virtually no guidance available for New South Wales public schools in regards to having an assistance animal present to support a student or a teacher. This is a major problem of practice. Background and introduction. Assistance animals are purposely trained to alleviate an individual disability. They're recognised by the Disability Discrimination Act as a form of assistive technology, just like a wheelchair or walking frame. Yet the New South Wales Department of Education Support Dog Guidelines 2021 does not consider assistance animals worthy of mention. Instead, they limited the policy and procedure to therapy or support animals, which have a completely separate function. The major issue here is the lack of policy and procedure to support assistance animals in New South Wales public schools. We need an improvement strategy that involves multiple key stakeholders, which is needed to ensure a safe school environment for animals and humans, recognise the benefits of assistance animals for the person with the disability, the rest of the class, staff, students, etc., and have robust policies, procedures and processes for the application of assistance animals in schools. Although there's significant academic literature supporting the application of assistance animals, we need to take expert advice, case studies from lived experience to achieve this. Our improvement strategy will have multiple key aims, including enhanced academic performance for students, promotion of social integration, increasing awareness and understanding, ensuring health and safety of staff and students, boosting staff confidence and competence, and improving parent satisfaction. The key elements of which will be policy development, training programs, educational materials, collaboration with experts, feedback mechanisms, resource allocation, monitoring, evaluation, communication, and engagement. Although there's almost no information regarding assistance animals in any kind of educational facility worldwide, there's numerous benefits documented by the peer-reviewed literature for the presence of a therapy animal, which include enhanced emotional well-being, reduction in anxiety, stress, fostering empathy, enhancing social skills, reducing behavioral issues, increasing engagement and attendance, enhancing social interactions, and emotional intelligence. To achieve this, we're going to follow the 7-step continuous improvement approach from Mintrop 2016. Evaluation. Evaluation goals and outcomes. To address our problem of practice, we first identify and define the problem before gathering evidence and developing a plan, implementing the interventions, which would be the policy and procedure, monitoring and evaluating the outcome before making adjustments to improve. In this case, our problem of practice is how can New South Wales public schools effectively integrate assistance animals into the classroom to support students or teachers with disabilities, while ensuring a safe, inclusive and disruption-free learning environment for everyone. A theory of action is a comprehensive and strategic framework that outlines how and why certain actions or interventions will lead to desired outcomes. This allows us to connect specific activities and initiatives with expected results in a logical pathway from inputs to impacts. So in this case, our theory of action is that if New South Wales public schools implement a comprehensive plan for the integration of assistance animals that includes clear policies, training for staff, and education for the school community, then students and teachers with disabilities will receive the support they need to succeed academically and socially, and the school environment will be safe, inclusive, and conducive to learning for all students. So here's our theory of action table. So by filling in the table, we identify the specific actions and changes needed at different levels of leaders, educators, and students to effectively integrate assistance animals into New South Wales public schools. This structured approach helped us develop a comprehensive plan that addresses the needs and concerns of all stakeholders involved. So, for example, what do we need to change? If the leader develops and implements policies and guidelines, provides resources and support, and promotes an inclusive culture, then education staff will be able to receive proper training and develop understanding of the benefits, implement strategies, and create a supportive and inclusive learning environment so that students can be more accepting and understanding of others, be able to learn in a safe environment, and be inclusive and supportive of one another. The key components of our theory of action are policy development and implementation in line with New South Wales Department of Education guidelines, relevant legislation and case law. We've got staff training and professional development, including legal requirements and handling procedures. We've got student and community education and raising awareness, health and safety measures to accommodate zoonosis, allergies and phobias, and then ongoing support and evaluation in terms of a feedback system and audit. In terms of implementation, we need to form a working group of key stakeholders who can develop policy and procedure, design training programs, launch the awareness campaign, establish the health protocols, and monitor and adjust as necessary. The theory of action will be continually refined as our initial ideas will always require further development. It's never complete, so we continue to test as we put the improvement strategy into practice. Theories of change support leaders to articulate why an improvement strategy will work and the anticipated short, medium, and long-term outcomes that are expected. A theory of change describes how and why a strategy or initiative works and expands on the theory of action. So the theory of change includes our inputs, which are the resources we're investing, the activities and outputs, which are what we're doing with the resources, the outcomes, which is what difference we're hoping to make in the short, medium, and long term, and the impact or overall changes that the intervention will bring about. Here's our theory of change process for integrating assistance animals into public schools. So we've got the inputs, for example, the policy framework. To do this, we'll develop and implement clear policies and guidelines for assistance animals. The output would be the established policies and guidelines. Outcomes would be the increased awareness and understanding among staff and students, properly trained staff, consistent application of policies, and initial acceptance and support from the school community. And the impact is the ultimate goal, successful integration of assistance animals in schools. Evaluation indicators and data collection processes. So the key themes in the evaluation are the lack of rigour in policy and procedure. This is a major issue because it involves the safety of humans and animals, but there's also a minor issue regarding the lack of understanding and education of assistance animals. The evaluation goal is clear, which is the development of policies and procedures. And the aims are quite clear as well. The sub-questions are around education and understanding related to assistance animals, but the evaluation is clear, specific, measurable, ethical, and relevant. So we've analysed 20 schools' policies and procedures, and we've looked at the short, medium, and long-term goals of improvement of the strategy. They're well formulated, and we're going to look at stakeholder engagement to develop the plan for policy and procedure, establishing a working party for development of policy and procedure, and implementation of policies and procedures, including education for schools where the assistance animal will be present. Our clear outcomes statements contain the three components, being improved rigour for application of assistance animals, changes in attitude, practice, and policy, and changes for individuals, program participants, the population group, community, client, organisation, and system, so all levels, and individuals to the whole group. In terms of data types, we're going to use mixed methods, so qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative is more interviews, focus groups, and observations, whereas quantitative uses a representative sample from the entire population and looks at assessment scores, attendance data, survey responses, administrative records, student management system. So together we're going to have a mixed method which covers as broad a data set as possible to provide as much insight as possible. In terms of data collection, school administrators are going to look at attendance and compliance with legislation and guidelines. Teachers and support staff will look at student performance, behaviour, qualitative observations on social interactions. School counsellors will be responsible for surveys and interviews to gauge attitude and well-being, and analysis the psychological impacts of the data. And we'll also use external evaluators who are independent and will provide unbiased data collection and interpretation, plus a long-term data comparison to control groups. So our data will be either stored as a digital database management system under password protection for soft copies. Any hard copy documents will be locked filing cabinets, and then we'll also use a backup of encrypted cloud storage solutions. In terms of timing, we're going to look at baseline metrics for comparison, so before and after. We'll have monthly school attendance records and quarterly behavioural assessments. We'll look at post-intervention data for the first 12 months and then long-term over 3 or more years. And then, of course, we'll have evaluation and reporting, so our annual report, and make end-of-year academic year adjustments as needed. Okay, so after we've got our outcome statement for the improvement, we need to determine our indicators that will be used to measure each outcome. So indicators specify the variable that's going to be measured, the target population, and the threshold to determine whether an outcome has been met and how long it will take to achieve the threshold. So this is our indicators table. So for example, our outcome measurement would be improved academic performance for the student handler. Our short and mid-term indicators might be a 10% increase in academic performance within the first 12 months. Our long-term indicators would be the same, but over 3 years. And then our method or source of undertaking this would be academic reports and standardized tests. Data analysis, interpretation, synthesis, and decision-making. So for our mixed method study, in terms of qualitative data, which will be valid, credible, and reliable, we'll make sure to use peer debriefing, member checking, negative case analysis, and record keeping to increase the validity, credibility, and reliability of the data. In terms of quantitative data, we'll make sure it's valid, reliable, accurate, and independent, and we'll analyze using a frequency distribution and frequency polygon, and we'll measure the central tendency and variability. So in terms of data interpretation, we'll utilize a professional learning community who meet collaboratively to use data to solve the educational problem using a systematic and cyclical approach. So this will let us address the problem of practice and work together to interpret data, make judgments, and engage in systematic reflection. It will also allow us to exchange ideas and debate different perspectives. Having interpreted the data, we need to then bring the evidence together by weighing, aggregating, and summarizing the data. This means that we're writing down the key claims we're making and how we are interpreting it. So this includes interpreting organizational data, interpreting community perspectives, interpreting professional experience in judgment, and utilizing the research literature. Systemic decision-making process help to support educators to reflect on their judgments and ensure they're able to justify their choices and support transparent approaches to decision-making that are always in the best interests of the student. This means we need to look at individual professional codes, personal codes of ethics, ethics of the community, professional code of ethics, and standards of the profession. And we need to do this considering leadership ethics, social justice ethics, and well-being ethics. The integration of assistance animals in New South Wales public schools is well supported, grounded in extensive research and factual evidence. By addressing academic, social, and health aspects, and by boosting staff competence and parent satisfaction, this initiative really does have the potential to significantly enhance the education environment for students with disabilities. Thanks so much for coming along today. I'll be around for a little while if anyone has any questions, but otherwise, here are the references.